Eddie Hearn hace declaraciones explosivas sobre Saúl Canelo Álvarez, indicando que el campeón no está interesado en enfrentar a Terence Crawford. Según Hearn, Canelo no ve ningún mérito en vencer a Crawford y duda que busque esa pelea. Aunque el jeque árabe Turki Al-Alsik ha expresado su interés en convencer a Canelo para pelear contra Crawford, Hearn cree que Canelo no está interesado. Hablo desde mi punto de vista, pero no creo que Canelo esté pensando en pelear con Terence Crawford. No veo que ganaría con eso, dijo Hearn a los medios. Para él, sería como enfrentarse a alguien que no le aporta reconocimiento. Después de la victoria sobre Jaime Munguía en mayo, se ha especulado sobre posibles oponentes para Canelo, incluyendo a Crawford, un campeón welter que tendría que subir 3 divisiones para retar a Canelo. Crawford es un peso welter, acaba de subir a 154 libras. Pedirle que suba a 168 y enfrente a Canelo es demasiado, agregó Hearn. Además, en este punto de su carrera, no estoy seguro de que Canelo quiera perseguir a un oponente por todo el ring. Hearn también mencionó que Canelo se interesa principalmente en las ganancias económicas y no lo oculta, Canelo es un mercenario. Para Canelo, lo más importante es el dinero, y no hay problema en eso, concluyó Hearn. Ya tiene los títulos, el legado. Ahora busca peleas que lo motiven y le generen ganancias económicas.
A week ago, you guys have a relationship. Could you see yourself, one, potentially working with Canelo again? And although I know you mentioned Bud Boots being a potential fight down the line, Bud has shown a lot of interest in wanting to fight Canelo. What do you think about that as potentially being something that could happen down the line?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, right now, the only fighter in the mix I have, well, 2 fighters under contract for that is Edgar Berlanga, who's the mandatory with the WBA, Dimitri Bivol, who obviously has the victory over Canelo Alvarez. The most important thing for me, I mean, unselfishly, is to make sure that DAZN continue airing Canelo Alvarez fights, which they do a great job of doing. And you know, they had a very successful time with a Munguia fight, which was on DAZN and also Amazon as well. Not speaking on Canelo's behalf because I don't represent him, I don't think he's overly interested in the Terence Crawford fight, because I think he'll be thinking, I'm not going to get any credit for beating Terence Crawford. He's a 147 pounder who's just moved to 154. You're asking him to move up to 168 and fight a guy that's going to massively outsize him. And also, at this stage in Canelo Alvarez's career, stylistically, I'm not sure he wants to fight a mover that he's going to be chasing around the ring. And I think that was the case when he boxed Charlo. I don't think he enjoyed that fight. I think he enjoyed the Munguia fight because he was a young, big super middleweight coming to win. I think he'd have the same kind of enjoyment out of an Edgar Berlanga fight. But money talks. I mean, you know, the one thing you know about Saul is he is all about the money. And what I love about him is he don't try and hide it. Do you know what I mean? He's achieved everything. He's got the belts. He's got the legacy. There's nothing else to do other than being fights that motivate him and being fights that make him money. And that's why when people criticise him about the 200 million from Benavidez, I actually think that's a great play. Because you never know. Someone might pay it. But what's the point in coming out and saying, give me 75 million and I'll fight Benavidez? Because someone will just go, done.
Yeah.
Give me 200. You know, as I say, shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you land on the clouds. Shoot for the clouds, you miss, you land on your ass.
Would 200 million come from you, maybe? Possibly?
No.
Or you in Turkey?
What about you?
I'm just asking.
No, listen, but look, whether it's 200, whether it's 150, whether it's 100, I like the style. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, hey, you look, you motherfuckers, you want me to fight Benavidez? You want that fight? Pay me. If
Right.
not, I'll fight Berlanga next, or I'll fight him, and then, you know, I do believe. One thing I promise you about Sal, knowing him, he ain't afraid of no one. I promise you he'll fight anyway. He has no problem fighting Benavidez, no problem fighting Crawford. It's all about the money, but he does want to be in exciting fights. I know that.
So Eddie, I have a question about Berlanga. You saying that most likely the fight between him and Canelo is most likely going to happen. We're looking probably towards the fall of September, maybe October. Where are we looking to have this fight, and what can you get to have the non-sayers who say that Eddie's not, that Berlanga's not ready for a guy like Canelo?
Yeah, listen, that fight's not done. We're not in negotiations for that fight. All it is that Edgar's the mandatory for Canelo. So at some point he's going to have to fight him. You know, I appreciate there are bigger fights out there for Canelo, but if they don't materialise, why not fight your mandatory? Why not have a young super middleweight that can punch, that will try and come to win? You've got a guy from Puerto Rico, you've got a guy from Mexico. You know, Edgar likes to talk that smack as well. You've seen him, and I think he's a big fight. So I think, of course, Benavidez, Crawford, they are bigger fights than Edgar Berlanga. But if they're not available and you have a mandatory like Edgar Berlanga, I think you make the fight happen.
Pregunta del día. ¿Crees que Saúl Canelo Álvarez debería considerar enfrentar a Terence Crawford, o es comprensible que busque peleas más lucrativas en esta etapa de su carrera? Deja tu opinión en los comentarios y únete a la discusión. Si quieres seguir al tanto de las últimas noticias y análisis del mundo del boxeo, suscríbete al canal y activa la campanita para recibir notificaciones. Únete a nuestra comunidad de apasionados del boxeo. Nos vemos en el próximo vídeo.